Yo,
Hey, what's up, guys?
how's it going, everybody?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
Sweet. I thought I'd try out my microphone again. It's been a while.
Working on ASMR.
Yes. And mukbang.
Nice.
Yeah, David's familiar with the mukbang. That's a running gag with us because every time we talk on Skype, I'm eating like chips and like chocolate covered peanuts and yogurt and all kinds of stuff.
Just crunching away.
Yeah, it's always dinner time.
It might be just us. I think Brandon, I mean, you guys are familiar, I'm not, but I think his kids have like a baseball tournament or something. Oh, there's John.
Sweet.
And then this date was actually Brian's idea. There's no telling if something else came up and he's not able to make it too.
JT.
You should hear us now, John.
How's it going?
Hey,
Yeah.
good to see you, man.
Oh, let me switch the view. There we
It's the happy haps.
go. Oh, not too much. I walked away to make coffee, so
That is a very important
Make
task.
literal coffee,
Hmm?
literal coffee or figurative coffee?
Literal.
The literal will help
Okay.
him make the figurative later.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I wasn't sure if anyone even remembered that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's still normal parlance for me. And I've even started using that in German. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
it's international at this point.
Nice. How are y'all doing today?
Really good.
Better now.
Yeah. Oh man, I've been relaxing all day. It's been super nice. We just got back from vacation Thursday afternoon,
Sweet.
and Friday was supposed to be a work day, and I sent my boss a message, was like, hey man, tell me what I got to do today, and he still hasn't gotten back to me, so that's cool.
Hopefully it takes him even longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's officially sick right now. Okay, so he's not even technically supposed to be working, but he still does because he likes what he does. Yeah, anyway, so that means I've just been like hanging out. It's been nice. I've been just sitting around and thinking about stuff. It's nice to do that from time to time.
Mhm.
So I had posited this thought, or at least attempted to. I know we kind of keep nice dinosaur. We kind of keep in contact via different means. I know some of us are on Messenger, and I talked to Tiny on Signal, and John too, really. But I wanted to know, this is a thought that kind of came into my brain after we talked the last time, and David had shared some of his more recent work. And oh, David, thanks for sharing the Stand Up Citizens link. I finally got that downloaded. I think like with a couple of hours left in the day that you said you were going to take it down. So, but I got it. It's up, dragged it into my iTunes. So I wanted to talk, or listen to you guys talk about any ways that you're able to remain creative now that we're adults, and music isn't our entire life like it was when we were 15 through whatever 25 something. Just as far as do you, I'll let you guys talk. I mean, is there a practice that you get into? Is it carving out time on your calendar, or is it just kind of a happenstance? I don't know who has a thought. Please take it over.
I think Kairos would like to start.
By all
I have
means.
some Star Wars drawings I made.
That's
One is
fantastic.
of an ATST.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
The next, I don't know what this thing is called here, but I do know it's some sort of R2D2 transport, and I also don't know
cool.
what these are.
Yeah, those ones in the back are like the precursor X-wings, and the one on the bottom, the yellow one, is a Jedi fighter, I think.
Yeah, the pre-X-wings are called arc fighters.
Yes, there you go. That's the one.
And I changed the Death Star into a planet.
That's cool.
And why don't you show
And-
one more for now, and then if there's some time later, you can show a few more. You want to pick out one more you want to show right now? And what is that one?
Oh wait, we missed it.
Yeah.
That one flew away. There it goes.
Here.
Oh, wow, that's good.
That's
And what is
awesome,
that?
man.
Can you read it?
Direct Firewalker.
That's
Direct Firewalker.
Yeah,
Good job.
Sweet.
that looks great.
I don't
And
recognize
I
that one.
used watercolors.
Yeah, I was gonna say that looks like some pretty fancy painting.
Okay. So now we'll listen for a bit. And
Alright.
then if there's a chance again later, you can show some more.
But at least we got an update on some of David's creative outlets too.
Yes.
That's good.
Hey, are you into watercolors too?
I am not. Although it reminds me, last time we had talked a bit about the songwriting game Chris and I played, and then John was in one version of it as well. But it reminded me. I'll tell him in a moment. Yeah, actually, Chris surprised me because he's Chris. You're quite good, from what I recall, at visuals as well. Like I remember when we were playing that game, you did a few drawings around the same time, and I was just quite impressed. I never knew that was a skill that you had. Of course, I knew John carried quite the flame for visual work, but yeah, I seem to remember Chris even had done some watercolor stuff.
So, I mean, nothing anywhere close to your son's brilliance there. I, maybe painted a house and a grass field, but that's about it. About as far as I got. I don't even know where. I think my only access to watercolors was probably at camp, like when they had all the art supplies out.
Yeah. I had a neat moment in undergrad. I don't remember what the name of the building was, but I looked up and saw a really stunning work. I mean, it was probably, would you say, maybe 12 by 12 feet. And it was 3 figures kneeling. And I looked up and I said, man, that really looks like John Tully in those. That is so interesting. Like, this person looks just like John. And then later I found out it was actually one of John's pieces. But it was just so funny that I didn't even make the connection of like, oh, well, John studies art here and we're in the art building. And, like
Yeah.
this could be John's work. But like my connection was just saying, oh, this looks a lot like John.
Yeah.
But I just remember it just thinking, wow, this is a stunning work. Like, yeah. Anyway, I always appreciated
And I'm
Your
wearing
gifts.
my PJs.
Good time of the day for it.
I just took mine off, but I'll be putting them on again in about 2 hours. So, yeah, it's always a good time of day for PJs. So who's creative? John, are you creative?
Sort of. I'm creative through I guess making records for other people. Most recently, I guess. And then trying to since the surgery try and like play a little bit more of my instruments to sort of like work on my coordination, you know, and you know, remembrance of the material.
And how's that going? I know you had mentioned at one point that you were feeling less of the anxiety of kind of the disconnect you were feeling between your brain and your hands. Like right after the surgery, there was a period of time that you were concerned that wasn't going to come back. Is that kind of resolved itself, or are you still dealing with some issues?
Yeah, for the most part, it's resolved. I didn't really have a chance to test like what my like right hand like dexterity was like before the surgery, but I mean, I can strum and pick. There might be some like weakness in the like ring and pinky finger, but for the most part it's resolved.
You said you can strum and you can pick. What about slap and tap?
I haven't tried.
Have you tried that?
No, I'll have to.
Yeah, that seems like that would be a good exercise, especially if you're working on the back too.
Yeah. Like one exercise I did early on was just kind of like the melody that's like in Everybody Wants to Rule the World. You know, it's like the dee 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 dee. I tried doing that, like basically because it's real simple on the left hand, but I basically did it like between the thumb and pinky, and then I would switch fingers slowly.
Okay.
And just try and like do it smoothly between all the different fingers. It was actually a pretty good exercise. I was pretty proud to come up with that.
Does Andy McKee have a version of that song? Is that the one you're working with?
Probably.
Are you familiar with him?
Yeah. But that's not the one that I was.
Okay.
I wasn't doing that.
I feel like I've seen him. I feel like I've seen him play that.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm confusing him with somebody else. Or I know he has a version of Toto's Africa that he does too.
Yeah, this is definitely baby steps compared to that one.
Really?
Yeah. Which
is it raining in Vancouver?
Was it?
Is it raining in Vancouver?
It has been all week, surprisingly. But I mean, John, I'm pleased to hear that things are going in a good direction.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And they continue to. But I know that there probably are moments of frustration that come with the limitation and the dexterity as well. But
yeah, how regularly had you been playing before? I mean, is it something that did you still play regularly? Or even at all? I mean, I'll out myself, man. Like I haven't played since Kaiser Bill at Cafe Reggae on like, what was that, December 30th in 2004. That was probably like the last time I played an instrument. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. Yeah.
Well, I guess when I bought a house, I kind of played less and less, kind of like focused on trying to fix up the house. And I still play or did play pretty regularly bass at River Community Church. About, I guess, like some time when they started meeting again in person, they were down a bass player. So I'd play in the booth, kind of like at the mixing board, and kind of do both. And
You were pressing the solo key a lot, I bet. Huh?
yeah.
I'm still not clear why it's called the rude solo key, but I hope that you were pressing the rude solo key some as well.
Oh yeah.
And
The,
doing some rude solos.
Oh, so interesting thing on that. The guy who invented that ended up working for Personas some years later as the creative director, and he worked for Mackie, and just decided that, like, oh well, if it's flashing, it's like rude, you know. So
Sounds like a very British way of
insider
describing something.
knowledge. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead, Chris.
It sounds like a very British description of something. Oh, how rude.
Yeah. Kairos wanted to ask.
Can I show you some more of my drawings and a new Lego creation I built?
Yes, please.
Absolutely.
This is my newest Lego
You may
creation,
need to hold it back up top.
and it's a Boba Fett laser.
Whoa,
Cool.
very cool.
If you let go, then they'll see the
It
whole.
used to be
Oh,
a
yeah, there we
time
go.
machine.
Oh
Okay.
man, that
good-
is a transformation.
Handheld time machine.
What a way to repurpose it.
And another one of my drawings is a TIE fighter with a few TIE fighters with the Death Star.
Cool.
Sweet. I can hear the sound that they make when I look at that. Yeah. In my mind's ear.
Good job. You captured the world very nicely.
And this is an ATRT.
Do you know what it stands for?
No.
I think it's maybe
All
all-terrain recon or something.
On the
All-terrain.
all-terrain
recon,
running turtle.
running turtle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
It looks like
Redneck truculence.
yeah. It
Although
looks like
I
it fits
did
in
miss a
a
spot. I did miss a spot right here. I'll have to fill this part in right here later.
So you were saying, John, it looks like what?
it looks like it would fit in the jungle or something like that.
Mm-hmm. And what
So
is
you're
this?
saying that
Oh,
the
why?
R and T probably have something to do with Guns
This
N' Roses?
is an
Is that what I'm hearing?
X-Wing.
Yeah, probably so.
I kind of get mixed up because I do have a Lego X-Wing. I mean Y-Wing.
Y-wing, yeah. That is an X-wing though.
Yep.
For sure.
Good job.
And I used...
Well, you know, I do spend a lot of time arguing with people on the internet about Star Wars. So
I'd like to be part of that conversation, please.
that's kind of what I do. So, you know, I did once hold a lecture comparing differences in the different versions of the Star Wars films to distinctions within the tradition of biblical texts. So, and basically showed how the same things that you see, the changes in Star Wars movies from 1977 to 2008, I think was the last revamp. You see the same things happening in biblical texts over time in different versions and stuff. The audience didn't get it, but it was awesome. It was awesome. The people who were not theologians who attended said, I finally understand what you do. And I said, I'm glad to hear that. It worked. That's exactly what I was going for. So that's the limit of my creativity these days.
We'll have to have a Zoom meeting where you give that presentation to us.
Yeah, I'll have to translate it into English first. That would be step number one.
Because I won't get the Bible stuff, but I'm on board for Star Wars.
A blue trombone.
Yes, we have a blue tromboner.
Oh, nice. You're
Lovely.
looking more like the son of David right now.
Yeah. The king of the random instrument.
Yeah.
And then like 10 minutes later, he's mastered it.
Yeah.
except for the bagpipes.
You gonna go?
It's pretty good.
Where can I find a
Who
blue
can name that
trombone? That's
tune?
awesome.
Did anyone recognize it?
Oh,
No,
I'm sorry. I didn't know.
I wasn't listening for a melody.
Okay,
I was
okay.
just
Try
enjoying
it one
it.
more time. Try it one more time.
Oh.
Yep. Yes, now I've got it. Yeah, a
Imperial
friend of mine.
March.
Yeah, a friend of mine in college. That was his ringtone for when his wife called. Yeah, pretty nice. Pretty nice.
I've used it. I've used it for like work calls as a ringtone, but I think I'd probably get in pretty good trouble if I used it for partner.
Yeah, but see, how would she find out?
It's true. Calling from upstairs.
Yeah. Why do I keep
Oh.
hearing that? Are you watching Star
Always watching Star Wars.
Wars again?
Chris, I just saw your chat message, man.
Yeah.
Every time
Sorry
it,
about just
every time
right,
it flashes to you when you talk, to see your dog in the corner.
going to town.
Yeah, I totally didn't notice that until you said it. Yeah.
It's gonna show up eventually.
Yeah.
The last time we had one of
If you
these,
put
he
this
was
on YouTube, you may have to censor that.
yeah, I'll have to figure out a way to cut my video. The last time we had one of these, he was just a little bit further, towards the corner, and I was able to like body block him, but it's kind of weird leaning over here. So Corey, you've actually in the creative realm, you've actually taken up relearning how to play guitar, as I can see the guitar over your shoulder.
Yeah, for probably the 100th time, I've tried to pick up the guitar and relearn and learn it, but I'm trying to do 5 to 10 minutes a day. It's not going so well.
It's hard,
It's not,
man.
it's not going so well because you're not managing to get to it every day, 5 to 10 minutes a
Sort of,
day, or it's not going well because it's hard to play guitar.
A little bit of both.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, you've got kids, man. It takes time. I know.
Yeah. Kids are always front and center.
So you're not going to play for us today? Is that what I'm hearing?
I don't think you want that.
Really? I mean, you heard Kaiser Bill, didn't you?
It's pretty bad.
Nobody wanted that.
And yet everybody wanted that.
Yeah, right now I'm trying to learn some bar chords, but I feel like my hands are too small for to make an F bar chord. I'm like, I can't figure that one out yet.
The bar chords are definitely the most dexterous. So
Yeah.
don't feel too bad.
Right.
It's
I think
tough. It's
we
really tough.
we all struggled, I'm sure, with that same F chord.
That's why it's called the F chord.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
Yeah, I've got to figure out another way to try to play it, but my hand will not do that.
Hmm.
You were mentioning, and this was in a group text with Brandon and Ray and Corey and I, you were mentioning, did you ever pull the trigger on that Bad Cat?
No, I didn't. I researched it some more, and I was like, I think it's the ones that are made in China instead of in the US.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess it's priced appropriately, but I just kind of felt like maybe I want to go with just a Fender, like a Blues Junior or something.
Also a good amp. I mean, completely different from what the Bad Cat was doing. They were trying to essentially be a new version of Matchless.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, that was a good price for that amp. But yeah, if it was the not the USA made, then maybe not worth it.
Yeah. And I think I really like the Fender clean tones from, Blues Junior or like a Hot Rod Deluxe, something like that. So I think I'm going to try to play like just blues in that genre.
Cool, man.
Nice.
On this topic, I'm wondering, so I just picked up a pedal because a friend had recommended it, but I'm wondering, John, a friend recommended it at church and he said a number of them have been using it. So I'm wondering if, John, if you've encountered any of the guitarists or bassists playing through the Line 6 HX Stomp.
From Long and McQuaid.
Well, yeah, here it's Long and McQuaid is the Canadian big retailer, but have you encountered that one or heard that one?
Maybe not that specific one, but Line 6 has definitely come a long way in the is it a multi effects?
Yeah, you basically, it gives you 8 blocks and you can put in compression, delay, distortion, overdrive, this kind of stuff, but then it actually has amps and cabs in there as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, people have been really raving about it. So, I know shopping for gear is hard, but Corey, it may be something you want to try out and see if some of the amp sounds on there are doing what you're looking for.
Yeah. I think some of the modeling amps are pretty cool. Like you can just kind of pick out like some like boutique sounds, like a deluxe reverb or a Blues Junior. Like it's one of the settings on these modeling apps. I think that's pretty cool. But I hear everyone wants like the tube amps, so I might just like, I'm kind of looking to just like buy an amp once and just kind of stick with that.
David, I've also read about those the Line 6 products. They've got a couple of different ones. I think that the 8-bank one is probably their most popular just because of everything that it does. But like to John's point, they've come a long way. I remember they had one amp when they first started putting out modeling amps. We had one at C&M, and it was really cool because it was cool just in the sense that you could just plug your guitar in and you could actually choose in 2 separate sections of it a different amp to model. So you could play a Marshall JP or JMP and then a Vox AC15, but they had a switch in the middle that you could blend between the 2, so it sounded like you were playing through 2 different rigs.
That's pretty sweet.
I'm sure that Stomp box thing would, I mean, I've heard of bands really giving up their entire, guitar players giving up their entire rig and just using those little things.
Yeah, that's what people are saying, and I mean, it really surprised me. But I've been enjoying looking into it. I haven't had a ton of time, but yeah, it's been good so far. Okay, Kars has 2 more drawings he wants to share if everyone's agreeable.
Excellent.
We may have to go here pretty soon.
Sure.
This is an AT-AT I drew with the watercolors again, and then
Cool.
I drew something else with the watercolors, and it's an ATM6.
Whoa.
Yeah.
The Last Jedi, or from The Last Jedi.
And there's some weird details on it. It has a sloped back with these lumps, like these. Then it walks like this, with its feet like that.
Yeah, I was surprised. I only learned that yesterday, that it's kind of got 8 sort of looking.
Yeah, like a gorilla.
Yeah. Oh, gorilla. Yeah. Exactly.
The design. I remember watching a documentary or something about the making of it, and they were talking about their what they tried to recreate was a silverback gorilla, like going through the forest and like using the powerful fist to mess up the ground.
Yeah, they modeled it on my walk.
Yeah, it looks like it's got a goatee too.
Yeah, they asked me to come in for that.
Are we on?
Yes, you're on.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, he wanted to show one other detail.
Oh, sure.
There's a little laser right here.
You'll have to go back a touch.
Yeah, there, you see
Yeah.
it.
I see it. Very
And
cool.
then John Tully was pointing out that right here, it looks like there's a goatee, which is sort of like a, well, I guess Robker has a goatee, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So let's Robker say something so you'll come up.
I also have a togi.
Okay.
If
Yeah.
that
So
helps.
that's sort of just this area of the facial hair.
Wait, did you just say that you have like clarified butter between your toes?
Yes, I have togi.
Okay.
Yes. I don't get toe cheese. I get togi. It's really good with naan.
You got jar that up and sell it at the farmer's market.
I do.
Excellent.
Yeah, at the foot fetish farmer market. Yeah.
Mm.
Well, now I can use that tag on YouTube to get more views for this.
Yeah, that's true. Between that and the AS.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Mukbang. We've gone all over the place today.
Yeah. You could probably monetize this. You just got to get. Let me think.
I don't know.
You need
I don't know that I
1,000
want to see
subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. So,
Yeah, I don't know that I want to see what ads would pop up for that.
Yeah, so this is really funny. Speaking of ads on YouTube, and this is totally kid friendly. So when you watch Sesame Street on YouTube in Germany, it doesn't act like it's kids watching it. So you never get ads for toys and things because it's in English and kids don't know English in Germany. So you only get like ads for cars and hardware stores and stuff like this. It's really awesome. So there's this whole world of toys out there that Miriam has no idea about because the only stuff we watch on the internet is in English. And here the ads are never for kids. When
Targeted.
you watch English programming, it's awesome.
That's hilarious.
So she's always, she does want us to buy a hybrid Hyundai car, but that's whatever. That's not going to happen. But she has no idea about all the kinds of toys and stuff that are out there.
Yeah.
And I guess if David's going to leave, he needs to say something about his creativity. Are you guys heading out soon, or?
Theoretically, that's the idea. Kairos did want to say something YouTube related, I think. What was that, son?
We have been watching some videos about sea shepherd.
And tell everyone what the sea shepherd is.
They just save animals in the ocean.
Mhm.
So it's a bit of an international water patrolling unit
Thing.
that checks on. There are a number of vessels off the coast of Argentina, and where else were they saying? Off China, I think. Oh, Iceland. Anyway, that in the UK, that are they do illegal fishing and
Mhm.
And there is some illegal fishing called IUU.
IUU. Do you know what it stands for?
No. Unidentified flying object.
That's close.
Who needs to know what it means when you know the acronym? I mean,
Yeah.
There you go.
Perfectly acceptable.
Yeah. On my end, I just started Master of Fine Arts in Creative Writing at UBC. I just started this week, so that's why it's been a heavy week on our end, because there's an intense course. I'm taking a poetry course, and man, it's kicking my butt, but I guess in some good ways. I'm
That's
just
awesome.
like, oh gosh, I don't know what I'm doing, but yeah, hopefully I can get some more songwriting through this program. I get to take classes because I work at the university, but I had to get into the program, and I was quite honestly surprised I got in, but yeah, I got in, so it's a really good opportunity. What's that say? Okay, I'll be there in a few.
Is the poetry course you mentioned? Is it? I mean, I'm sure there's a level of both, but is it them asking you to create poetry, or is it learning about other writers and styles?
Yeah, it is a both. I would say, I mean, there's a lot of production. So part of the stress this week this is a course that runs from July 4th to the 13th, excluding the weekends. But every day we're expected to produce something. So it
So you're
definitely
back in
has
the-
resonance for me.
Yeah, you're back in the
With
game.
our previous projects. Though I will say, in some ways, producing a song in 24 hours is a little bit more.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, there's some really just fine writers in the class. I'm like, whoo, this is a high standard, man.
Yeah.
But I guess I can feel a little bit better that two of the quite good writers are. I mean, everyone in the class is good. I feel really, it's encouraging just to be alongside creatives. But yeah, one of the shining stars and another one are planning to do poetry as their thesis. So I can at least feel better of like, okay, well, yeah, they've been operating in this mode for years.
And also, I mean, you mentioned it was a master's program. Is it possible that they've worked their way through some of those, some of that same coursework
as a BFA? Yeah.
But yeah. Okay. So
yeah, some people do come into the program with BFAs in creative writing. So I don't know their particular backstories, but yeah, it's just nice. There's diversity. Like yesterday we had there was a panel, and one of the guys was in Canada they tend to call them First Nations. Sorry, I'm not meaning like them, but in the United States, people that tend to be called Indians.
Indigenous.
Yeah, or indigenous, exactly. In Canada, we tend to use the term First Nations. There are some nuances to that, but yeah. So anyway, so on one of the panels, there was a First Nations guy who had done a series that has received a lot of praise here, and then there was a librarian who is trans femme. So there's diversity of voices. And yeah, the librarian, who is also an author, gave a fascinating talk on Yoko Ono's influence in this author's work. And
Okay.
like Yoko, I wasn't super familiar with what Yoko Ono has done, but yeah, there's some pretty interesting stuff in there.
Yeah, she's got her hands in a lot of different mediums, I guess, really, from visual art, like we were talking earlier, visual art to music to, I mean, I think there was like I might be confusing her with someone else, but I seem to remember there was a performance piece that she did that was literally just screaming for an hour.
Yeah.
And people attended and just took it in. I don't know that I would have been able to stay for more than a couple of minutes of it, but yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, they were talking about another performance piece she did where the subject is dressed in cloth, and then the audience has a chance to get a pair of scissors and cut a piece of cloth from what I don't know what the subject is wearing. Any piece of cloth or anywhere on the cloth, and then the person who cuts it gets to keep the piece of cloth. And I guess ultimately the subject, I don't know what the right term is to use here, but the person who's wearing the cloth can say, okay, I'm done now, like this is all over. But
okay.
Yeah, apparently this has been this has been performed in a number of places, and yeah, like people will cut around very sensitive parts. They'll cut fabric around very sensitive parts of the body, and it's just
like that T-shirt you used to have.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
I had a t-shirt.
You have
with the
experience in
nipples-
this.
with the nipples cut out.
I think we all remember that.
Yeah, okay.
I'm pretty sure I even remember that it was like Alexandria Senior High
Trojan
School.
swimming or something. Yeah, it was some kind of swimming T-shirt. I think I want to say it was the Trojans, and it was like a yellow and purple logo.
It was Alexandria Senior High. My cousin went there, so I'm very familiar with that logo.
Hilarious. That's so good.
Wow. I did not remember it saying Alexandria anywhere on there, but that is
It just
awesome.
no, it said ASH or Ash was there.
Okay. Yeah. Nice.
Just like we
How's
would
your,
always say BRHS, they just called themselves Ash.
Yeah. How's your self-pierced nipple doing?
It is okay. There is a visible distinction between the two.
Yeah.
Oh,
Good thing you didn't need that for anything.
yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Good point. I will have to excuse myself, but I'll look forward to catching the recording later, and I appreciate you all inviting me. And it's really good to see you all.
it's
Yeah,
great
you
to
as
see
well.
you, man, and
Yeah.
and you got quite the artist there. I love the gallery behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we yeah, thanks. Yeah, and I apologize for my hair. Kairos woke up at 7:57 while I was about to email Chris and say everyone's still asleep. I don't know if I'll make it, but he woke up, and I was like, all right, well, I guess we'll.
Perfect. No
Just
apology
because
needed.
two of
man.
us, just because two of us have shaved heads, you don't have to apologize for hair. That's not offensive to us. You know?
That's
I mean,
that's being harassed.
it's okay.
It was just more
You're,
that
you're being
unfitness of it.
folliculist.
There you go.
Anyway, you all have a great day, and yeah, it's encouraging to see you all and to know that there's still creativity happening among the group.
Wait, did we come up with something that we're creative about? No, I'm just kidding. It's good to see you too, Dave, man. Take
Yeah,
care.
thank you.
Have a
Yeah,
great
and
day.
please send me the link because I'd like to watch the rest.
Absolutely, we'll do.
You're not subscribed.
See you all later.
Yeah.
See ya, man.
Good. Now we can talk about him.
But
Man.
jerk.
Can't believe his hair wasn't combed at all.
Yeah, as a bald man, I'm offended.
Yeah.
He has hair and uses it like that. That's terrible.
Do we need to take a moment of silence just to
Yeah.
reflect on our follicles?
A theologian, a very famous text critical theologian that I know, he's bald, and he commented to me once that God only made a certain number of perfect heads, and for everyone else he made hair. And I thought that was a pretty
Nice.
yeah, it's a pretty nice way to think about it.
Are you saying that going bald is predestined?
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's a Calvinist?
Yeah. Well, he's actually Jewish. But yeah. Close enough.
Yeah. For some reason, like my like hair is, fallen out in the perfect old man or like friar sort of
Yeah.
pattern.
You're not shaving that? You're not shaving that?
No, well, I have been trying to keep up with it, but I don't have the proper tools.
Oh, really? I mean, I just use a regular Gillette. It works fine.
I might try that.
Yeah. I use what's it called? The Fusion. That's probably too much, but a lot of people swear by the Mach 3.
Okay.
When I have time, I use a safety razor, but like the old fashioned 1950s style. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It doesn't it doesn't grow except for like right here a little bit.
mhm.
But like right now it's just like not growing in the back.
I mean, you just finished up your radiation not too long ago, so I mean, I'm sure it might take some time for it to kind of restart if it does. I don't know.
Yeah, they said probably 6 to 8 months. after treatment. But yeah, the back is growing, really quickly because I shaved it, I guess like maybe 2 weeks ago. It's already back to.
Well, you need to let that get like really long and crazy,
Yes.
man.
Yeah.
Go for it. That would be great.
Awesome.
That would be a look that you've not done before
And it's true.
in your history of hairstyles.
Is that
And
the
then-
Rasputin haircut?
Yeah. You could always, once it's long enough, you can go back to mohair and get them to dread it up for you.
Yeah, closed. So I kind of missed the window
Dang.
opportunity.
Man,
Baton Rouge Institution.
Yeah. Could do two like like a sick braid.
Definitely. Or like pigtails.
Yeah.
You could do like the most ridiculous comb over, like from the back.
To where
Yeah.
to where you look like Danzig.
Yeah. Like
Just a point.
yeah. Ideas. I like them.
Yeah, take it under consideration, man.
Yeah, you don't even have to write this down. It's going to be on the internet forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna hold you to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was
Oh,
Saturday like in
man.
Germany?
Yeah, today I did nothing. It was nice. I
Best possible
did
day.
thinking. Yeah, I got up this morning, hopped on my bicycle to do a bit of a ride, but there was construction that stopped me. So I turned around and picked up fresh baked goods for everybody for breakfast and rode home. We had a nice, relaxing breakfast. Then my in-laws are visiting right now. So they went into the city. Well, some of the family went into the city and did shopping at the farmer's market and other places. And I just kind of stayed home and did whatever I wanted to, reading and journaling and this kind of stuff. Yeah. And then we had just a lazy day. I went out for a longer bike ride than this afternoon. I'm trying to ride 1,000K this year, which doesn't sound like a lot, but for somebody who hadn't ridden a bicycle in 25 years, it's a lot. And so I'm doing pretty well. I'm way behind. Well, I'm not way behind. I'm behind. I'm catching up, but I need to be doing, instead of 20K a week, I need to be doing closer to like 30 at this point. But it's the season for it, so I'm doing okay.
Nice.
I did half of that today. Whatever. Tonight we're gonna have dinner. I was reading about healthy eating, which made me want beer, so I have beer in the fridge now.
Excellent.
Yeah, so that'll be nice. It's Spaten, which is gonna be good. Yeah, I was thinking about your creativity question, man, and it burdened me because it was both awakening and alarming to think about that I just don't have creative outlets, at least not traditional ones. And so I was thinking about all this stuff that I could like make up, right? So there was Kaiser Bill was like the last thing. I guess you can call that creative. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. That was an experiment. It was fun. But then otherwise, I mean, so I do writing, but it's like academic writing.
Yeah.
And I guess some of that's creative. And teaching is creative. But yeah, that was a kind of a realization that maybe that's a problem. Maybe that's something I need to fix. That I'm not doing more creative stuff anymore. I've been journaling more regularly for about the past maybe 9 months or a year, I'd guess. That's something I've done off and on since about 2008. I discovered when I opened up my journal that I'm currently using and realized it was given to me on my birthday in 2008. And I still haven't filled it up. But in the meantime, I've journaled across several other places. But I'm finding that's a good way to mind dump and deal with stuff that's bugging me.
Okay.
So I've been doing a lot of that. And I find that that in turn helps me be more creative in my writing academically. Yeah. Working on turns of phrase and things like this. Yeah.
I like how you said it was both, alarming, and use the word burdensome. I think that's kind of why I wanted to have that conversation is, I'm realizing that for such a large portion of my life, from the time I started playing guitar at like 11 until, just a few years ago in Nashville, I got tired of banging my head against the wall trying to play, and make something of that, and realizing, hey, maybe it's time to get an actual job so you aren't just eating grits for dinner. But somewhere along the way, like, I still have all my stuff and it's displayed nicely in my home, but I don't do anything with it. It's just sitting there. I mean, I bought the new guitar a few months ago, and I'll pick it up once a week and strum a couple of chords, or but it doesn't amount to anything. It's not, I'm not sitting and, at this computer that I purchased specifically to record. I'm not sitting here and actually doing that. So I was just kind of trying to get, pick y'all's brains, to figure out if there was something you were doing, not necessarily to relive the past, not to keep that younger portion of our lives going, but utilizing those skills that we developed over the years, and doing something with them now. I just didn't know if anybody else was having that kind of, that block, creatively, that I feel like I've had for probably the better part of a decade.
Yeah, that's tricky, man. So I'm gonna preach things I don't practice, right? Because it's the same thing I tell people when they come to me and they say, "Oh man, I can't finish my book. I can't finish my dissertation. I can't finish this article." That you need to just have a buddy, and the two of you have to keep each other on task, right? And then even when you're not on task, you just have to listen to each other and talk about how you can be better about getting on task, right? And I can't remember, there's a special term for it, and then now, of course, I can't think of it, right? Where the two of you are like, you're obligated to each other, or it can be more people than two, right? Just to check in and, say, we're going to talk every Friday for 30 minutes and talk about what we did this past week and what we're going to do next week before we talk again, and then see how we do it. And so I just picked up this book too. And I said I do a lot of writing. So this is a habit journal, right? To basically retrain your mind to do things that you've gotten out of the habit of doing, or that you never had the habit of doing but want to do. And so I was actually just thumbing through that when the call started. I haven't started using it yet. It just got here. But I'm trying to think of what habits I want to do with that. And that's one, I thought, I live next to the church. I'm going to have a key to it. I can go anytime I want. And they have an electric piano and they have a real piano, a grand, that I can use. And I haven't played the piano in 30 years, but part of me feels like that would be something to try again. Right.
Yeah.
Now that I'm doing less academic stuff, I have time for real life. So it's like, that might be something to actually consider. And it actually did get my bass out of the basement, and my amp is under my desk. I have my feet on it right now.
Multi-purpose.
So it's here, and I have plugged it in, and it works, and I have used it once since the last time we talked.
That's one more than before then.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, I took myself to task and I bought an amp. That took me about probably 8 years to do that. And then since then, I've barely ever played. It's always just a matter of when am I going to find the time? What am I going to do with it? I struggle with it a lot because I don't find a lot of people here doing musically what I'm interested in. That was my excuse for a long time. Now it's probably more difficult even to find people like that. And it's just easier. Nobody wants to listen to you play bass, right? Well, unless you're, Thundercat or Bootsy or somebody like that, right? I mean, like, nobody wants to just be like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna go listen to a solo bass concert tonight. Like, that's pretty unusual. And I'm not of a caliber that would ever be, within the realm of possibility for me anyway. So I think more about singing. I feel like I can sing. I don't know. People don't scream at me to shut up when I do. So I guess it's either satisfactory or they're all scared of me. One of the two.
Use it to your advantage.
Yeah. A nun once told me after church, David was actually here with us too. The two of us were singing in church, and a nun told us after church that she found it so pleasing to hear young men singing in church. And she was always of the opinion that if God gave you the gift of song, then it was your obligation to sing. And if God did not give you the gift of song, it was your obligation to get revenge, or at least your chance to do so. She didn't say which one she was thinking of when she heard us singing. she just said she thought it was nice to hear men singing in church.
So you're going to say, like,
So,
if he didn't give you the gift, then just sing quieter.
No, she said straight up. Yeah, she just straight up said, get revenge. Yeah, it was nice. Yeah, that was a life-changing moment for me.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned the pianos. I actually remember coming over to your house to play, probably with Star Wars toys or whatever else we were into at the time. And like, I arrived at your house before you were back from like taking a piano lesson. And I always remember that piano in the dining area, like with the sheet music up and everything. So it's interesting that you mentioned that. I hope you do get the chance to utilize that and pluck around and see what that stirs in you.
Yeah, we'll see. That's something. Yeah, there are two things from elementary age that I wish I had kept up with that I did not, and that is piano and French. Those are the two things that, looking back now, that would have been advantageous and enjoyable, I think. I dabble a bit in French these days, but not professionally, right? Yeah. And we'll see. I know how piano works still, so that's something, and I can find the notes on there, I think. But I'm probably so rusty I can't even read sheet music anymore, I imagine. That would take some time. Treble clef I can ironically probably do better than bass clef at this point. So who needs sheet music when you play bass guitar, right?
Well, it's got the catchier phrase for the staff lines.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the one for bass clef was. Something like face or something. I don't know. Yeah,
Probably.
Why not? Well, cool, guys.
Everyone's thinking about it. Would that work?
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I've got. Unless there's something else you guys want to dish about.
Yeah, I was surprised to hear that you've been. I mean, that shocked me to hear that you've been having that you've been blocked for the better part of a decade or something.
It's funny.
I did not know that at all.
Oh, okay. Well,
no.
I mean, these meetings are the first time that we've had the chance to catch up in quite some time, and I apologize about that for sure. But I don't know if you guys, I don't want to spoil anything, but I don't know if you guys have caught up with the Kenobi series, but I kind of liken it to, in Star Wars, they call it the bearish vow, where they essentially, after the Jedi purge, so that they're not located and in some instances, it's, them rejecting the theology of the Jedi for so long, but they'll essentially remove their connection to the Force. Luke did it in The Last Jedi, and they just didn't reference it by name, but they kind of build it out more in the comics. But I kind of liken it to that. Like I've lost my connection to it, and I'm hoping maybe not just talking about it, but like you said, rebuilding a habit, or taking up a new habit, to make that connection. Maybe that'll spur me along to use the Force again, like Kenobi did.
And then set a trigger event, that every
Yeah.
day when, whatever, when your dog sits back there and does what it was doing before, that means as long as your dog's doing that, you're playing guitar,
Yeah.
and then if you do that, you will be a master
It's a good
of
metronome.
guitar. Yeah. In 4 weeks, you will be one of the greatest guitarists ever for all the time that you'll be spending there playing.
Eric Clapton.
No, I don't want to be an anti-vaxxer nut job like him.
Is he anti-vaxxer? Is he
Oh,
anti-vax?
dude. Yeah.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. He was, at one point he was trying to put together a concert, like a big festival, with a bunch of musicians that kind
It was
of
called Super Spreader.
right. Yeah, it's just another person with a very large platform that doesn't have the information and but still wants to be heard.
Yeah.
So is Clapton really one of the greatest guitarists? I think of totally different people when I think of great guitarists now. I mean, I like Clapton enough, I guess.
I mean, with little exception, I mean, technically, I guess he's a good guitar player. I don't know that he's
Yeah, sure.
a great guitar player. And I really, I guess I read his autobiography a few years ago, and it points out that he's not really responsible for kind of the more success. I don't know. This is my takeaway. He's not really successful because of anything that he did particularly. He's kind of just successful for being around other people that had, like when he, his biggest probably popularity period was like the 70s and 80s, and all he was doing was just re-recording JJ Cale songs. And then, he hit another stride in the 90s with what was it, Tears in Heaven.
Yeah.
And yes, that does
and then the Unplugged, yeah.
right. That's a tragic story,
Mhm.
but he didn't write that song. Babyface wrote that song. Or at least from what I gleaned from the book, like he wrote the majority of it. Yeah, sure, Clapton had input on it because it was his tragedy, but I don't know. Yes, I think with the right, with his guitar and the right amp and the right melody behind him, he can wail on a solo. But I just don't know that he's. I agree. I think of other players when I think of the greatest guitar players.
So who do you think of?
Wow.
That's an open question.
Yeah, it is, and I think the answer probably
For
changes.
anyone is what I mean.
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Yeah.
Jeff Beck.
Yeah.
I'd also say Jimmy Page.
Yeah.
Joe
Yeah.
Pat. He's a really delightful jazz guitar player.
Yeah. That's what I was to say, man. I like jazz guitar players
Mhm.
a lot.
What was the last name of that person you just said, John?
Oh, Joe Pass.
Pass. Okay, yeah, I've heard of him. I don't know that I'm familiar with much of his work, but I've heard the name.
Yeah.
Does listening to those guitarists motivate you to want to play, or does it turn you off to playing?
Maybe a little of both.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, it'd be cool to pick. Oh, but I can't play like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I like listening to jazz guitar players a lot just because of like the harmonic ideas that they come up with. But I haven't, it's like, I guess maybe it's like a fear thing, or but I haven't like been compelled like to learn jazz guitar. Like I'm interested in it, but I guess it's like a thing that I haven't done. But
I mean, I could see you getting into like Stanley Jordan and stuff like that.
mm,
And that's why I just wonder, because like this German friend of mine years ago, I mean, this was 15 years ago, he made some comment to me. He said, or he was actually coming to somebody else when I asked them about music, and they said, yeah, if you ever talk to him about music, there's only one thing that you're ever going to notice. It doesn't matter what the genre is, the bass player is always going to be like ridiculous, right? Like he's going to be really good. That was the way he summarized my opinion of music, is that I like these really good bass players. And so I struggle with this a lot. So I listened to all these people and I was like, man, yeah, this is a role model. Like this is amazing, but then at the same time, like, I don't even want to touch the bass guitar anymore. The jazz history professor at LSU, I asked him about that once, about, does he also play electric bass? He was a bassist, he played upright. I said, do you also play electric? He says, yeah, if you pay me enough money, I will. But normally I won't. And I was like, well, why is that? And he just said, Jaco Pastorius. that was all he said.
Yeah.
That was the reason. After that, there was just no reason to play bass guitar anymore. Right. Like you're never going to do anything better than that, which I would disagree. I think there are people that are probably better, but I get where he's coming from. Yeah. And I feel that. Yeah.
it seems like you could not even pick up the instrument at all, and if you just left it at like there's no way that there's going to be any more contribution to music, as a whole, with whatever that the examples that are out there, it's kind of sort of robbing music of what you might have to say. Not that you would like anyone would necessarily be like as good as, or as I should say, as proficient as, or have compelling ideas as some of the greats, but it's like to not get in the conversation, I guess, is sort of tragic, I guess.
Yeah. So I mean, simple music can also be good music, right?
Mhm.
I mean, there's a song by King's X, I think it's called Lover. I'm sure you probably know it, John. The text is just, you want to be my friend, but I want to be your lover, right? He just keeps repeating this basically. And it's just a super straightforward, simple song. But it's like brilliant, right? I mean, it's a great song, but it's just straightforward and simple, right? It's not off the wall, ridiculous 95 solos and stuff like this in it. Yeah, it's tricky. I don't ever know what to do. Yeah. So I struggle a lot with, do I even want to try? Right. It's tricky. Part of me really wants to, but yeah, it's easy to find excuses. It's easier to watch another YouTube video than to pick up the bass, to watch somebody on YouTube playing and say, oh man, that's really amazing, than to sit down and try and do something yourself. Yeah.
Sure. I agree.
Yeah. So we all have to commit to doing better. Right.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's, maybe by the next time we talk, we'll be able to share, hey, I came up with a chord progression, or hey, I did this or that. Tiny can tell us about his concerto that just came out of him while he sat at the piano.
Yeah, that's exactly what's gonna happen. Basically, I'm gonna pick up my bass again, and I'm gonna play a one Kaiser Bill riff, and I'm gonna call it a day. Yeah, and those are all
That's-
ripped off anyway, so
But that's what it takes.
that's fine too. Yeah, so I have standards that I go back to, and one of them is also cast me away from our old bug days, right? That I still go to that, and I had probably been playing that song for like 10 years before I played it once in front of Brandon. And he was like, "Yeah, dude, that's wrong. That's not that's not the chord progression." And I was like, "Really?"
I've been playing it this way for 10 years.
Yeah, yeah. So that's one that that have a standard, and then I have a solo version of Melissa's Dream I can do, which is always a special one because after I played that song here, that was Anya Kissed Me. Yeah, so that
Nice.
there you go. Yeah, yeah, and then some other, like say Kaiser Bill stuff that I do a little bit, but man, I'm so out of it. Got to get back in the groove. Find the pocket.
And then groove in the pocket.
Yes,
Yeah.
groove in the pocket or in the heart, as the case may be.
Yeah.
San Juan Heart.
Yeah.
I wonder if that hat's still around.
Oh yeah. Jeez.
Man, I doubt it.
Yeah. Every time I see someone with like a famous name or a very close to being famous name, I think of you talking about it's in Office Space. What's the guy's name? Michael Bolton.
Yeah.
He says, "Why should I change my name? He's the one who sucks."
Yeah,
Yeah.
brilliant
I love
line.
it. Although I have a lot more respect for Michael Bolton now than I used to. Like, I get it. I get it. Michael Bolton, you've changed me.
I don't remember if it's on, like, he makes these like guest spots on Kimmel where he'll just like say, is it Kimmel or Fallon? One of the late night shows.
Well, he's been on Last Week Tonight a few times, I think.
Oh, maybe that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he just comes on and says like really off color stuff. That's those little bits are funny.
Yeah, I
So-
think he was
so
on
funny, I
Last Week
can't-
Tonight.
That's probably it. That's probably what I'm thinking of. I know it was a late night kind of recap show.
Mhm.
But obviously it's so funny that I completely remembered who it was and when it was.
Yeah. Yeah, so I've talked about Thundercat probably every time we've talked. Have y'all checked him out? Are y'all familiar with him?
He's awesome.
I've heard some of his stuff.
Okay. Anyway, he's like my he's my go-to right now for things that are both that make me very happy and very sad. So because I listen to him and I'm like, man, that guy is just awesome. I wish I could do that. And it's just, man, I cannot. And by that I mean be in Star Wars.
Right.
That's what I mean.
As
Not
a-
all the musical stuff, just
Yeah.
being in Star Wars
As
is what I'm
a
talking about.
a mod provider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like,
yeah. Anyway, like he has great lyrics and stuff too, man. That just some of them are hilarious and some of them are just like so. He has the best lyrics probably ever about heartbreak. Yeah. And then also songs about how he's covered in cat hair, but he still smells good. Like it's good. And Michael McDonald sings with him on one of his songs. That's why I was thinking when we went from Michael Bolton to Michael McDonald. And,
Gotta bridge the Michaels.
Yeah, man.
Old Mushmouth.
Yeah.
He actually showed up on Toad the Wet Sprocket just put out a new record a few months ago, and he
Yeah.
showed up on one of the songs, and I find myself skipping that track. I just can't listen to that dude. And I remember Mark Touche getting so mad at me for calling him Mushmouth. I guess the Doobie Brothers were like his favorite thing in the entire world.
what
anyway.
didn't he get mad at?
Oh, I know. And then he totally stole like my guitar parts.
Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way, I think I've got some of your guitar parts.
Oh,
Oh,
awesome.
So
Yeah.
it was John who stole them.
Yeah.
Snap. Now it comes out. Now it comes out.
No, but it was definitely like he went in and like took the little 59. I think
Yeah.
that was the story.
He definitely pilfered it.
Right. Well, it's funny because I've actually got the original PV neck is just like sitting as a display item on the shelf up there.
Yeah.
I was telling Lachlan that story the other day about my attempt to Frankenstein my original guitar into a completely different guitar, but just didn't work.
Yeah.
Franken guitar.
Mhm.
I took a belt sander to mine because I wanted to like experiment with the shape.
I thought you meant instead of a pick. Like,
Oh no, I wish.
while plugged in.
That'd be crazy. Yeah.
That was that old hollow body, wasn't it?
No, it was I had like a Squire Strat.
Oh, okay.
yeah, that was your old guitar. Yeah, before
Yeah,
you fixed up the hollow body at some point, didn't you? That red hollow
yeah.
body you had.
Yeah, I think I tried to, and then something about Holger like said that it I guess wasn't like stable, so it kind of wasn't worth um fixing. I think
Putting the effort
still have-
into.
yeah. I put some because that was I bought that or my dad bought that for me at a garage sale like in 4th grade, I think, for like $10. It didn't have any pickups or anything like that on it, but it's kind I guess it was like the first theoretical inspiration into wanting to become a musician. Even though I guess it took like a couple of years to actually get a functional guitar.
I remember that thing being around and both of us like holding it and like pretending to strum, but there weren't any
Yeah.
strings on the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as I've known you, you've had that guitar, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it moved from house to house in Baton Rouge.
Yeah. I think it's in the closet behind me. That's where all the guitar cases are. Like hidden by the clothes. Winter clothes or clothes that don't fit for various reasons.
That's where you keep your skeletons. The skeletons in the closet are all guitar parts for you, huh?
Yeah. But
yeah, that
like
reminds me, man. When you say guitar cases, my parents have said they're coming to Germany now. Maybe I can get them to bring my 6-string. I have this 6-string I can't get rid of. Like nobody wants it, and so I guess I'm gonna have to keep playing it.
Oh darn.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's vintage, man. It's a handmade Warwick from like 1984. I mean, it's old school. Yeah. Fretless 6-string. It's nice. Yeah. Pretty good deal on it back then. But now, like, you can't sell Warwicks for anything anymore. They are not very reputable apparently anymore.
Huh.
When I was way into them, they were, but now they're not. I've been told. So
I wonder what changed.
They moved their production facilities.
Oh.
Yeah. So they downgraded a lot on hardware and also even woods and things that they're using, apparently. I say this is all hearsay. I don't know. But my blue bass that I play, I ordered that. It's custom. And I ordered it the first time I lived in Germany. And I actually went to the factory and saw it on the line, cool. Where they were putting the finishing touches and stuff on it, So it was actually produced here. Right. they used to have a pretty good sized production center in Saxony. And so we drove up there one afternoon. They said I could come and tour the facility and stuff. And there was the guitar. And it was funny because I recognized it from the order. I said, that's got to be mine. And he was like, how do you know that? And I said, because that guitar doesn't come in that color otherwise, and I was like, yeah, that's the shape and everything. That's definitely mine. And he checked the order and it was, yeah.
Oh.
So they were putting the finishing touches on it. Oh man. And I was so excited because they gave me the deadline. Like they told me like when it was going to come. And then 6 weeks before it was supposed to arrive, there's a ring in the door and it's this delivery. And it's this huge case. And I was like, sweet, the guitar is here 6 weeks early. This is awesome. And so I like invite friends over to like watch me unpack it and stuff. And I rip it out of the box and it's just the flight case. There was no guitar in it. Yeah.
You're like, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was embarrassing, but there you go.
I wonder if Warwick's like Fender moving like all production to like Indonesia and China.
The last I heard, they moved to Korea. Yeah.
Okay.
But that was also 15 years ago or something. Yeah. And they reintroduced their guitar line, Framus, and started making guitars and amps and stuff. And then I don't know what happened after that. I quit playing instruments and quit keeping up with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know anymore. But they had a big phase like in the early 2000s, man. The bassist from POD played them, and from Incubus and Limp Bizkit. Other bands like that.
Yeah,
I guess Jack Bruce even played Warwick, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They were super popular.
Yeah. Anyway.
They're good sounding bass for sure.
Yeah, mine are awesome. I mean, they got a lot of growl and low end and nice tone.
Mhm.
It's beautiful. And the preamp and stuff on my Jazz Man is really nice. It's it's got an extra slap preset on there that you can basically you just pop a knob and then it's ready to slap. It's really nice. That's why I always thought it got a really, really nice tone to it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking back though, when we recorded Kaiser Bill, did we mic the bass or just run a line? I don't remember. Because I recorded a project with Rhett Morris. You guys remember him, huh?
Yeah, almost got us kicked out of school.
Yeah. He wanted me to record some stuff with him in college. And so I did some of that. And then I read up on how Wooten did his rig and how he did his recording stuff. And so that gave me the idea that you mic the strings when you're playing slapping and tapping and stuff, and you sync it up with the line input. You can even mic amp and stuff. So you have all these different channels, right? But man, that makes it really does make a huge difference when you do that. But I couldn't remember if we did that with Kaiser Bill or not.
I don't remember.
I don't know. All I remember is what the TV for.
Yeah. Where did we record that stuff? I don't even remember the session.
With Bill, what's his face?
At LSU.
Yeah.
In the School of Music.
Because David.
Bill
Yeah.
Kelly, huh?
Yeah. Bill Kelly. That's right.
Yeah.
He was at that crawfish boil we were at, John, at my brother-in-law's. Bill Kelly showed up.
I still see him pretty often. From time to time. His wife was actually my drawing professor. As a callback to earlier when David.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're
We were with you, man.
You're tidying up the loose ends here. I get it.
It's almost like we planned it.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say that we recorded that, I think, on July 4th. So it's almost anniversary. I think we were, because I wanted to leave because I'm fat, so I could do some grilling because it was the 4th of July, right? And so that must have been July 4th in 2003. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
It's almost 20 years ago.
0304.
I mean, I graduated in 03.
Oh, okay.
So that was when I left. That was when I left Baton Rouge.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just remember being, because where they had all the gear, or where they had all the stuff that they used for the actual theater, it was just that long room on the second floor, and I remember us all trying to cram in there and find spots where we weren't, just bleeding into each other's space and sound. Trying to move, like, I think we took the couch cushions off to like kind of protect from the amps making too much noise or bleeding into microphones elsewhere. So
Memory is so weird because, yeah, like some things, I don't know if this is just me before the surgery or just the maybe just like a tumor related thing, but like memory is so strange because some things I can remember vividly and then some things I have like hardly any recollection of, but it's kind of cool to hear about it.
yeah, my recollection of it is pretty vague, like you're saying. But I do remember, just because of the sheer amount of people that we had in that band, just all trying to fit in that very narrow space to make that happen. So
yeah, I don't remember tons about that day either. I remember I stopped you guys from doing like from using like marimba or something on $5 million a year, and I regret that decision to this day. Just to confess that would have been hilarious. Like that would have been, yeah. I'm very angry that I stopped that, but I was fat and wanted food, so there was going to be no more working on the album. It was time for food. It is done. And I'm also, the other thing that really aggravated me is that we did a take of the LSU post office disco that was ridiculous. I mean, it was insanely good, and then it did not record, and it was on fire, and that also really aggravates me because I don't remember exactly what was going on in it. I just remember it was out of control, and I was very, very aggravated that did not survive, even though we have like 5 different takes or something of that recorded. That one special one was gone. Yeah,
I'm gonna have to go back and revisit this stuff because I remember the titles when you say it, but I don't. Again, memory being what it is, I don't remember the song at all.
Yeah. I mean, that's what most of the the Kaiser Bill stuff. There are like brilliant moments scattered through a lot of questionable stuff and garbage, right?
Man.
So there's like,
I don't think
I'm not ashamed to admit that. I mean, it's real rough, but that was the idea, man. Was just go with it. And so, like, if you listen to the propaganda, that's where you get a lot of the greatest stuff. But man, there's stuff on those live takes that it's just like we could not have ever recreated that intentionally. I don't think.
Yeah.
Like David sings notes and stuff on there where it's like he has never since been able to hit that note, right? Or where my voice is so gravelly on Blue Sasquatch, and I was so tipsy that I couldn't even play it right. Yeah, that was brilliant.
Maybe that's why I don't remember most of that.
Oldies and blues music. Yeah, so that was, there was some. Yeah, we were not entirely sober.
No,
for much of that. Well, except for Will, because he wasn't legal, I don't think. Yeah, I think Will was sober.
I think that was around the time that Sam who owned Northgate was my across the street neighbor. And so instead of ordering a beer, I would always end up with a pitcher in my hand full of beer. And so anyway, well, guys, this is going to cut off here in just a second because for whatever reason, I only blocked off what I thought was a plenty of time, but we'll do it again. And let's be accountable and be able to tell each other that we were able to do something creative next time.
Sweet, man.
All right, guys.
It's great catching up.
Yeah.
It was the highlight of my day.
Love you guys. Y'all have a good one. Be safe.
Take it easy.
Later.
Easy.